One mini world, one creation dream.
Guys, for this class we are going to learn this. Unfortunately, I was promised to you to teach you how to transform 3D models into miniatures inside the game, but there is a problem, and the website that actually has the scripts to do this is not working very fine. It's not working anymore since the last update, so I won't be able to teach you that. As soon as that gets fixed, I will be able to submit a tutorial with it, okay? Because right now it's not going to work. Even I get to stop some projects like Pokemon, my Pokemon project, because I weren't able to transform those models into a 3D model, from a 3D model to a miniature, okay? So the problem with that is that I won't be able to do it, so I prefer not to take that much long using miniatures manually to create my models. So sorry for that, guys, but today we are going to learn how to create the reaction bar system, how to add reactions to it, how to animate the awesome method, so you're going to have that animated, and you're going to learn the basics to animate any kind of UI. And finally, I'm going to teach you how to submit your maps into Minicamp. And most important, guys, also you can have, and you will have a time to ask me any questions, just in case you have questions, just in case there are some questions about this session, so just be pending around that. I think the session about questions is going to be at 8:30, okay? So our reaction bar is going to be composed by two things. First, we are going to have the awesome method. You can call it whatever you want. The important thing is that it's a bar that you can fill or you can just remove. Don't worry, I'm going to teach you how to do that. So after that, you will be able to create also in the UI live bars or anything similar, okay? And apart from that, we have a part that is the reactions, okay? It's something that the players can click on, and this is going to perform different things in the game. First, it's going to give extra points to the players, or is going to reduce the points for the player. Also, with this, you will be able to increase or decrease the time for activity, okay? So we are going to learn to do both of them. This new UI needs to be apart from the activity chooser, so you need to create a new UI, and it needs to be completely apart, okay, guys? Why it needs to be completely apart, what is the reason why you need to have it completely separated, is because this is going to be something that always appears on the screen. And since the activity chooser is not going to be like that, it's only going to appear when you have to choose the activity, okay? So you have to create an UI that is going to be called a reaction bar, okay? That's very important. You are going to call it reaction bar, okay? All right, so if you open the reaction bar, we are going to have some elements, okay? So we are going to have the awesome mirror right here on the top. This is going to be fillable. That means that when you get the score, this is going to be filled, or you can reduce the amount. Always is going to be in the middle, okay? And also you have some reactions up to the normal menu, up to the bottom of the screen, just before the end, okay? That means that it's always going to be near or up to the inventory, so it's going to be an easy access, okay? You cannot click on this one, but you will be able to click on the reactions, okay? Important things, the reactions are going to have a timeout, so the players cannot click all the time, just when it's needed, okay? And the most important part that we are going to start is with the awesome mirror, okay? So let me switch here before and let me explain how you can compose a bar, okay? For creating a bar like this, you will have to use 3 different shapes for the live bar. And if you want to do an icon like this, just do 2 icons, okay? So let me explain, and you can see here that also we have the same. Let me show here. So we have the logo, we have the MP bar, we have the fill bar, we have the frame, and the base that is going to be kind of the text that is going to back, and the text for it, okay? So it's the same, but I'm going to explain in PowerPoint, so it's going to be easier for me to move and everything, okay? So the first shape that you need is a shape that is bigger than the others two, and what it's going to work for is going to be the outline, okay? It's going to be the background, so be sure that it's going to be not that much big. It's going to be a little bit more bigger than the others, okay? Then for creating this, we need to create an MP bar, okay? So you're gonna see the MP bar right here in my end. Sorry, it's this one. And the MP bar, it's going to work if you use a color that looks empty like this. And what you are going to do is to place the MP bar just above the normal bar, okay? So if you look like this, you are going to see that it's going to create a bar, okay? With a border, all right? So that's going to be the base. Next, we are going to have a fill bar. The fill bar is which actually gonna represent what is going to be filled on this one, okay? So what you have to do is to place the fill bar above everything, okay? So you're gonna see that it is going to cover everything, all right? So if you want to add also this frame, what you have to do is just to create a base, and over that you have to create an icon, and it's going to look like this, okay? Now, very important, if you see, to make it look like it's just one element, what you can do is just to play with the depth. Let me show you here, okay? If you place it like this, it's going to look more amazing, more composed, okay? But let me explain how it works. What we're gonna do is that we are going to modify by triggers the part that is filled, okay? This part that is on color, we're gonna modify that is going to be this one, okay? So, whenever the bar is having 100% of life, is going to be at the full, but you can reduce that, okay? Let me place it again in position. And as you see, when I reduce it, when I change the size for this, it's going to look like if the bar is filling or the bar is going to get not fill, okay? So that's how it works, basically, okay? That's how a bar looks. And we are going to make this by triggers, of course, in the UI, okay? So that's the important thing. We're gonna need two variables. The first one is the full amount of this, and the second one is the amount of this, okay? And I'm going to teach you how to do that, okay? But remember, you need to have those components. Right here is just the same components, but with names, okay? Notice that this doesn't have any kind of button. This doesn't kind of have of any interaction. We are going to manage everything by triggers, okay? So now let's start with it, okay? Now, for this, what we're gonna have to do is just to create an animation, okay? Now, very important here, guys, on reactions, we are going to have something similar. I already showed this, so I'm not going to get deep, but what we are going to do is just the same that we made for the activity menu, but this time for this one, we are going to have to create different reactions, okay? Remember that we also already in the first class defined how many reactions we are going to add. Remember that we have this table, we have loves, we have likes, we have dislikes, we have boo, and we have more and less, okay? Notice also that on the normal bar, you won't be able to see all the reactions, okay? Because those one, the one about the 60 seconds is hidden, okay? So it's this one too. Okay, so if you want to hide some part from your UE, you can do it just by clicking here and clicking in hide, okay? But if you see, it's the same amount of reactions. We have 6 reactions, and it's the same amount we got here, okay, in our table, okay? So those are going to be the basics, and these two, the ones that you see that I put just next to it, are going to be just for the host, for who creates the room. So that's why I'm hiding them, okay? So remember to hide both of them when you actually are in the basic interface. So remember, you are going to create a full set of interactions, and then you are going to hide the two that are going to be managed for the host of the room. Just clicking on it and hide. Notice also that the buttons are in the top, all right? So you see the interaction is here, like the background, the button, or sorry, I get confused. All right, so the background, and that is going to be this like translucent circle. It's going to be in the background. In front of it, you are going to see like the icon, and just in the top of everything, you're gonna have the button. It's also a completely transparent button with the trick I showed you before. And notice that it's bigger than the interaction, okay? Because as you see, as this is going to be small, we're gonna give enough space for the player to click on, okay? But yeah, you need only to create that when you have all of this, when you have your awesome meter and you have your reaction panel here, or your reactions, we're gonna start creating the triggers, okay? So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna start by setting up the basic thing that is going to be the reaction bar triggers, okay? So for this, I need you to open the triggers inside that UE. Remember that this is going to be different. And we're gonna start creating an interaction right here, okay? We're gonna move to interaction because that's where we're gonna start. Then we're gonna learn to do the reactions, and finally we're gonna learn how to do the animations. So first we're gonna move to interactions, okay? We're gonna have 3 different folders, okay? So the folder that is being called animation is where you're gonna show or hide or animate the awesome meter. Also, you're gonna learn how to react or how to animate the reaction bar. In reactions, of course, you are going to add the reactions, and you're gonna have to create an event, okay? So I know Multiverse doesn't have that much events, but we're gonna create an event. The event is going to be called event react, and we're gonna use above to create that event. We are going to create our own custom event, okay? And we're gonna send the feedback for the player, and finally, all these reactions are going to work with interaction, which actually is going to execute and move the text and give the punctuation, okay? So we're gonna have to create also 2 things before start. We're gonna have to create a buff that is going to be event react, okay? Remember that you can use this technique to create any kind of event, of custom event that you can set whenever you want. So this is going to be like an artificial event, okay? So first thing, we're gonna create that trigger, that script, okay? Sorry, that buff. Today I'm a little bit loose. I need more coffee to wake up completely. Oh, okay. I almost made a completely disaster on my keyboard. Okay, so now I have my coffee at it, and I will be able to make it better, okay? So I need you to go to plugins, and in plugins we're gonna add a new status, okay? If you see this status, it's going to be a completely modified status, okay? So you're gonna have to do the next thing. You're gonna have to add here a new one, but you have to click on edit, okay? You don't have to create it from zero, you have to edit it. And let me do a quick check to see which one is it, because I don't remember that. Okay, I didn't remember which one is it, so I'm going to use this to know very quickly. Okay, it seems that it's a neutral one, or no, react, trampoline, fly, water, debuff. Okay, I didn't see it. That's strange. Okay, yeah, it seems that it's going to be dicey number 2, okay? So you can modify dicey number 2, it's going to be easier for you. So just remember, we're gonna have to click here. We're gonna go to status, you're going to add 1 from 0. You're gonna scroll down, you're gonna add, you're gonna click edit, and then you move to slow down number 2, that is this one, or is, I'm not sure, no, it's the one that is dicey, okay? So you're gonna move to neutral effect, and in the middle, and just the second one, you're gonna edit that one, okay? The information that you have to place on that one is the next one. The name, you need to change it, so you're gonna name it like this, okay? Actually, you don't need to put it exactly like I do, but you just put it event.react. Remember that you can use this technique for other things. We're gonna use it for interact with the menu to make it easier, okay? You can place whatever, but don't put any kind of special effect or any kind of sound effect, okay? This is very important, don't put it. Now for the effect, you have to delete everything, and you can add this one. Okay, this one you can find it right here in Vision Brightness. And what you're gonna do is to change it to +1. So with this, actually the game is not going to do anything. It's not going to be noticeable, but you're gonna be sure that this is going to work fine, okay? On attribute, be sure that you put it as limited and as a positive status, and those needs to be completely deactivated, okay? As you see, there is no triggers, no scripts. Once you add it, we're gonna move back to the UE editor, okay? So we're gonna move back to the reaction bar. Remember this one, the activity chooser, and this one is a different UE, so be careful with that, okay? Now, if you mess up, remember that you can always save this as a template here. Oh, okay, what I did, come on, no, what happened? Okay, so remember you always can save this as a template, so don't worry for that, okay? Remember that just to save a template, if in case you mess up, you need only to click on here and you have this option, and with that you can export to different one, okay? But now, let's move it now, let's do it, okay? And we're gonna move to triggers, guys. And once we gonna be on triggers, and let me read you in the comments, yeah, there is not like goods or any kind of comment extra, so it's okay. We gonna move to the part that is going to be called interactions, okay? So remember, we're gonna create a new group. The group name is going to be interactions, okay? And in here, we're gonna start creating our triggers. Let me explain how it's going to work. We have a trigger, or 3 triggers, okay? You can put as much as you want it, but the basics are going to be 3. The first one is that your button, it's gonna fail, okay? So you have to put one for each reason, okay? So as an example, in this case, it's going to fail because there is no player in the area, okay? Now, if in this one, it's going to fail because you are trying to react to the host, okay? And then we're gonna add a third one that is going to be okay at the end, and that means that everything is going to work fine because we meet all the conditions, okay? Then we have button enable that is going to actually activate the functions for the player, so that means that if the player reacts one time, it's going to be disabled, and after some seconds it's going to be re-enabled, okay? And finally we got disable, that is almost the same, okay? That is going to actually disable the interactions for the players, so the players are not going to be able like spam that, okay? So we're gonna start to create actually the functions, okay? So how we gonna make this? We gonna access here, and we're gonna create our first trigger, okay? So the first trigger, it's going to be named as disable, okay? So remember, you're gonna put this name, BTN disable, okay? So BTN means for any kind of game, button, okay? So whenever you are editing any kind of game, not just Miniverse, if you learn to make your own games, you're gonna see this like code, and with that you know that it's a button always, okay? So we're gonna start with button disable, okay? And now we're gonna change that, okay? So we're gonna have created this, and right after that, guys, you kind of funny, Basi Soriano, but that's not the reason why you can actually change like players' information and hide the comments. Remember that it's just a smile. I mean, moderation means to avoid bad words or things like that. But for those things, I think it's to hide the comment is too much, Basi. Okay, we're gonna talk about that in Discord, so don't worry for that. But yeah, I think you overreacted to it. Okay. Now, let's continue, and we're gonna add the first part that is gonna be the button disable, okay? So first, let's go to events. In events, we are going to just scroll down here, and we're gonna change that. You are going to see here a lot of events, but there is going to be one that says lose a specific status event, okay? Not that one. We are going to use the one that says specific, okay? And we are going to learn that right now. We are going to use that one. What you're gonna do is that you're gonna place it, okay? When you place it, you're gonna edit it. And very important, guys, here you have to select which buff we are going to use. So just open the frame, just go ahead and click on template library, and then here you're gonna move to neutral effect. And remember, we edit that, so you have to search for this event, the one Sorry guys, 1 second, I need to move my microphone. Okay, to move the one that says event react. Okay guys, so we're gonna use that one, of course. Easy lemon squeezy on here. So just click on it, click confirm, and you're gonna have something like this. Okay, now we're gonna add the actions, guys. Okay, so remember, both button disable, it's going to just turn off the interactions for that player. So how do you do that? Okay, we're gonna change the color of the interactions to a color that looks disabled. Okay, so let me show you a real example very quick just to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, of course, probably I'm not going to be able to use this like fully, because well, there is no player to react. When you press, you can hear the sound, you can hear everything, and this color, the color that you use on the background, is going to change. Okay, so the players will know that they cannot use it because it's going to be grayed out. Okay, so how do you do that? How did you make this change? Okay, so what you have to do on here is that you're gonna have to use a color code. Okay, so we're gonna add an action, and the action is going to be change the color. Okay, so if you see here, we have that event is going to be change component color. So it's this one, change component color. And what you're gonna do is that you're gonna have something like this. Okay, probably it's the first time that we're gonna use this, so we need to select a player. Of course, it's going to be the player that receives the buff. Remember that is going to be our event. Modify the color of, and on here we need to choose which part of the UE we're gonna change. Okay, so on template library you will be able to access, and remember that in love we have different parts. So in my end, love is going to be the background, is going to be the picture on the phone. The picture 2 is going to be the icon, that means the face is smiling, and button is going to be the actual button. Okay, so we're gonna change the color of the background in the circle. Okay, so if you have a different one, you can just try to change that one. Okay, so we're gonna change that one. Okay, in the current edit interface. And very important here, we need to pick up the color. Okay, input, we gonna have template library here. Okay, that you can choose any color, or if you want it, you also have this. Okay, so probably this is going to be confusing, so I'm going to teach you how you can get any color. Okay, not just the colors that you have in template, you also can select any color here. So what you have to do is very easily, guys. You need to just go ahead and open any browser. Okay, as an example, I have this one, and you're gonna just type here, and you're gonna put RGB color. Okay, and on this you are going to have a lot of websites that you can use to pick up your colors. Okay, so as an example, you can use this one, and this one is my favorite, is the easiest one, and you can change whatever color you imagine. Yeah, that exists, you can just copy and paste it. And the number that you need to copy is this one. Okay, you're gonna see this on this side. Let me increase the size so you will be able to see it better. But at this size, you're gonna see a color like this, a color code. You see that every time I move it, or every time I move this, is going to change. So that's the color you're gonna copy here as an example. If I copy this, okay, we're gonna copy this, and I paste it on there, we're gonna see which color is it. Okay, and as you see, it's a green color. Okay, so what you see here is that this is going to be a green color, and all the thing that you need to do to copy is just copy this formula. Okay, the formula is the next one. You put on here first, before to placing the color, you just place a 0 and an X. Okay, that's always gonna be there, and then after that you're gonna put the color. Okay, so this is only going to work for UEs, because in normal triggers it's going to be something like this, right? So if you see it's the same, and the only thing that you need to replace is this one by the X and the 0. Okay, something like this, and that is going to work. Okay, and we're gonna do this for every one of the reactions. We're gonna change the color. Okay, so now we're gonna just copy and paste. Okay, if you have 6 reactions, use it for the 6 reactions. So as an example, copy and paste, and when you do that like this, you're gonna change now just this part, okay? So in this part, as an example, I'm going to choose a different one. I already choose this one that was love on here, on my reaction panel, okay? Now I'm going to choose the one that says like, okay? That is going to be the green circle behind all the reaction, okay? So I'm going to choose that one. And as you see, I'm just doing the same for every reaction, okay? So do the same for every reaction. You see here that I'm using a different color for the negative reactions, okay? So if I copy this color here, let me see, it's like kind of a purple one or an orange one, sorry, a red one or a purple one, yeah, a violet one. So that's the color I'm using for the background, okay? So once you do that, we're gonna create a new trigger, okay? So remember, you just need to change the color for every one of your reactions. Now we are gonna add a new trigger, and the trigger name, we're gonna change it. Okay, for the new one, we're gonna call it BTN Enable, okay? BTN Enable, it's going to do different things, okay? It's going to do just the same almost, but it's going to have a different conditions. Also, if you want it, just do the next thing. Copy and paste this trigger, the one that we created before. And for this one, you're gonna change the name and you're gonna change it to button enable, okay? Because it's going to use the same things, it's going to use the same interface, but it's going to use a different color here, okay? So what you're gonna do here is that you're gonna just use the same almost the same things, okay? So once you copy, you're gonna delete the event, the first one, and we're gonna change it, okay? So the previous one on this one was random player loses event react, okay? Now we gonna put random player obtain status effect, okay? That means that we gonna get an event, actually, that's it, okay? So on this one, we're gonna have to add the new one. You're gonna just go to players, and on here you're not gonna use anymore this one. You're gonna search for the one that says player gets an effect, okay? And sometimes I get loose because now there is too much events, but it's supposed to be around this area. Let me search, cancel collision, put the armor, non-press, obtain a status effect, okay? We're gonna use this one. All right. In this one, we need to use a condition, okay? So the condition is going to be player, and when the player has a specific status, okay? So it's going to be this one, determine player status, all right? And now that we got this one, we're gonna see something like this. So we need to do the same. We need to choose on here which actually status effect. So just go to template library, you go to neutral, and you're gonna select again the one that we created before that is being called event react, okay? And that's it. Now we're gonna change this, okay? So remember on this we give the colors. Now we're gonna give a white color for it, okay? So how do you gonna do this, okay? So what you're gonna do is, as you see, it's the same. You're only gonna change the final color, okay? So you're gonna move to the end, and we're gonna put this code, okay? As you see, it's the same, and with the difference is that we use 6 zeros, okay? And we're gonna do the same for all of them, okay? All right, so moving back to the website that we used before, you're gonna see that this is a white color or a black color. And it's going to be the black color, okay? So it's going to black out all the UE, okay? So we're gonna do this for all the or the amount of conditions you have. So remember, here we have custom color for each one. On this one, we're gonna have a 0 for each one. And also notice this, guys. If I go here and I edit any of them like this, you're gonna see the color I'm using is the same color right here, okay? So for this one, I use 00F00 because that's going to be the green color that I'm using in the background. Or for this one, let me go here also and use this one, edit this one, that is going to be a negative reaction, is the same color that we use for the other one, FF0CF, okay? So, yeah, you see, FF00 CF, and for the other, the positive one, 00F00, okay? So what you see is that this is going to grade out all the AUE, and this is going to turn it back into the colors, okay? Now with this, it's going to auto-animate it. We don't have to do that much. The UI is going to do everything by itself. Now we're gonna create this one, okay? What is going to do this one, guys? All right, and this is very important. What we're gonna do now is that in this one, the BTN OK, the one that we are turning on, okay, I'm being good enough, so I'm going to move this a little bit upward. So what it's going to do that is it's going to actually handle everything, okay? It's going to handle the timing, it's going to tell the player, hey, you cannot react, or yes, you can react, and it's going to turn off automatically everything, so the player cannot spam that and match that, okay? So we're gonna move the back to this, and we're gonna create from zero this trigger, okay? The name of the trigger is BTN CD OK. Okay, very important, guys. We have the same name for those three, but this one is the one that says OK. Okay, OK means in English, right? You got it. It's correct. So that is gonna means that, okay? So what we gonna do on here? We gonna add a new action or new event, and that event is going to be once more obtain status effect, okay? So we're gonna use the same one. Now we're gonna go to enable, and you're just gonna go ahead and copy here, and you're gonna paste the first condition that is going to be this one on here. It's the same condition, but now we're gonna have to add more conditions. We're gonna have two different conditions, okay? So the first condition that we're gonna add is be sure that the player is not actually, and be very big warnings here, is not the same player, so you cannot react yourself, okay? So how we gonna do that? We're gonna add a new action, okay, what happened here? And we're gonna go to players, and we're gonna select this one, determine individual player. So this is going to let us check if that player is or not is the same player, okay? And once we add it, we're gonna have something like this. On the first one, we need to compare two different players. So we're gonna add here, okay? We're gonna go to function library, and we're gonna go to players private variable, okay? So you're gonna select that one, and when you select players private variable, you're gonna have something like this. You have to add a new action, okay? So in here, just select players in trigger event, and we're gonna change this. On here, you don't have a variable, so you're gonna add it, okay? So the new variable is going to be named as BTN target, okay? So always that we react, we are going to set up this variable, and it's the player that we are reacting for, okay? So select BTN target, all right? And once you have BTN target, in the middle, you need to be sure that here says no, okay? That's very important. And at the end, we're gonna choose players on trigger events. What we're gonna do or tell the game is the player that we are reacting is not ourselves, okay? That's the first one, and the second one is optional. If you don't want the players to react to the host, to the one who creates the room, what you have to do is just click on here, okay? You're gonna have to scroll down to players and determine individual player 2. And it's just the same. You're gonna add here function library, you're gonna select players private variable, player, and just put the same. You're gonna select players in trigger event, button target. On here, you do the same, so you put the no. But very important on here, you're gonna go to function library, and you're gonna use host, okay? Host is the one to create the room. So as you see, we have two conditions extra for this one. Apart from the normal one, that means that it's only going to work if the player is not the host and is not the same player, okay? So, what is going to happen with this? First, we're gonna run a CD, okay? So remember on here, I told you that we need to have a blinking timer or something like that. We're gonna use those. So, we're gonna have also one that says react, okay? We're gonna add a new function that is going to be timer here, and the timer is going to be round countdown timer, okay? That is going to be this first one, okay? Now with this one, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna add the next functions, okay? We're gonna start a timer, so we need to react for a specific time. So what we're gonna do is that you're gonna create a new one, okay? For this one, just go to function library. Once more, select players private variable. And on here, you're gonna select players on trigger event, and you need to create this one, okay? And the name of this one is emoji city, okay? This is going to be a timer. It's going to be like the time that the player has to react again, okay? Now, apart from that, you're gonna create a new variable, okay? The variable name is going to be react cd, okay? And actually, this is a cd, it's the time that the reaction is going to be off for. So select that one, okay? And just remember to put on here false, okay? Once you close that, you're gonna move to here to variable library, and on here you're gonna search for value, and you're gonna click on react, okay? So on here you're gonna put the amount of seconds that the react button is going to be completely off. In my end is gonna be 4, okay? 4 seconds on here, it's going to be the time that the players cannot react, so we're gonna avoid the players to start spamming a lot of reactions, because that could happen, guys. And that is not going to be fair for the other players. So if you can spam the reactions every X time, or every second, it's going to be very unfair, because a player will be able to fill other players' bar very quickly, okay? And now we're gonna move the next one, that is going to be that actually we tell the game, hey, the players cannot use more reactions for a little bit. Now, what we're gonna do for you is that we're gonna add the score that the players adds to you, okay? And I'm gonna move back to this, and remember this table that we got the score here, and the group that we create in the second class, we're gonna use it, okay? And how we gonna use it is that we gonna set up a variable, okay? So we're gonna move here, we're gonna add assigned, this one. In assigned, we're gonna select value setup, okay? When it's going to do value setup, guys, it's just going to give numbers, okay? So as the score is going to be a number, we're gonna move that. So what we're gonna do is to change a variable, okay? And this is very important, guys. Just a second. And we're gonna just add here one that is going to be called our score is full, okay? You need to create this variable. If you don't have it, try to use the same name that you're gonna with this you're gonna put confusions, okay? And also with this we're gonna use this to change the score of the players, okay? So we're gonna do this. Our score full, it's going to be a numerical calculation, okay? We are going to do some math here. So just go ahead, move here, and select numeric calculations, okay? And on here, we're gonna choose 2 numbers, okay? The number that we're gonna use to multiply for the next number, okay? So we're gonna just click on here, you're gonna go to function library and just scroll down to numerical group, and in there you have this function that says value ID in the value group, okay? And how it's going to work this is gonna allow us to choose any of those values inside our table, the one that we create our group, okay? So on the first one we need to use the key. On here we're gonna use a variable, okay? So just go to variable library and you're gonna create a new one, okay? The new one, it's going to be called, it's a private variable and it's going to be called emoji, okay? This is going to be different for each player, so select function library, go to player, go to player's private variable, and you're gonna have something like this, okay? So you just expand, on here select players and trigger event, and on here you have to create a variable. Variable is gonna be emoji, okay? And later we're gonna use it, so for now just create it, okay? Emoji is actually to handle which emoji we are doing. So remember, if we are going to do the emoji number 1, we are going to give 6 of a score, and we are going to say the player that the player loves the other player's actions, okay? If we use the number 3, that is going to be the emoji 3, we're gonna give -2 points, and we're gonna say that we dislikes what the player is gonna do, okay? Alright, so now we're gonna use emoji, alright? In the middle, you can use here an options, and you're gonna use multiply, okay? And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go to player private variable. We're gonna just do this like this. We're gonna go to pliers private variable, and you're gonna have also something like this. Just expand that, and we're gonna select pliers in trigger event, and we're gonna select our meter score bonus. Okay, so probably you don't have it, so you have to create it. And actually what we are doing here is that if we're gonna check if the player has any bonus, okay? Because you can modify this, if you can give a player to have more punctuation, if it picks up like something like, I don't know, like a power up or it gets a card, okay? Now that we got this, okay, we're gonna actually set up a variable too. So we're gonna copy and paste the one that we created, and we're gonna start to change this, okay? So this time we're gonna change this. We're gonna go to function library, and on here we're gonna move to player and player private variable, okay? That's going to be very important, guys. In player's private variable, we're gonna just select again once more another private variable, because this is going to be the key. So just go ahead and function library, player, and you're gonna select player's private variable over here, okay? And when you expand this, you're gonna select the one that we just created. Remember that we create that one that says BTN target, so we're gonna use that one. That is going to be the button that the player press. And then we're gonna use this one, probably this one you already have it. If you don't have it, create it. It's gonna be our method. That is going to be the awesome method, okay? The score of the player. So we're gonna use that one. So you're gonna use our method. And then you are going to close everything and you are going to move to the second, okay? So for the second, select function library, and function library, you're gonna select numeric calculation. Remember, we always, when we're gonna do math, we use math, of course, and most of the times we're gonna use this one. In the minicam, we haven't used this much. We only use two others, because this is going to be for making more advanced things. But this one, we're gonna use this one, okay? So we're gonna use numeric calculation once more, and on here we have more options. So we need to select again here in function library player, because remember this is a private variable, okay? So select private variable, and on here we're gonna choose once more, just like we did in the previous one. On here another time function library, and we're gonna select again player library, okay? And we're gonna use the same. We're gonna play players in trigger event, button target, and in here we're gonna use our method as variable, okay? So remember, once more, select on here and our method, okay? So remember, this is the target. Button target always is going to be the player who is going to receive the reaction, okay? And finally, we got on here an add, so just select add, okay? And then on the end, we're gonna use awesome score full, okay? So just go scroll down and select our score full, and that's it, okay? And we were working on this one that is going to be the actual handle of the reaction bar, okay? Now that we're gonna add like the score and that we're gonna use, and also we add that score to the player, we're gonna send a couple of things more. First, we're gonna tell in the chat the players like, hey, this player likes this, okay? So like this, as an example, Basti Soriano loves Axel painting. So we're gonna do that, and also we're gonna send a personal text. So how we do this? We're gonna move and we're gonna create a new action. The action is going to be player group and display chat info to player group. Very important, don't use the player one, because this is going to be shown only for a player. Instead, this one is going to be showed for all the players. So you're gonna move to that one, and once you are there, you're gonna choose on here all players, okay? A friendly reminder, we always use this, but if you haven't checked that or you didn't know how to do it, just go to player group and select all the players, okay? And the content for this one is going to be a string concatenation. So go to function library and select a string concatenation, okay? Once you select that one, you're gonna have two different spaces. The first one, we're gonna choose the player. So just go ahead and select function library, player, and player name, okay? And then we're not gonna select which player, so it's going to be the player in the event, the player that reacts, okay? Next, we're gonna tell the player with reaction, okay? So we're gonna need more concatenations, so we're gonna use function, string concatenation. Remember, string concatenation allows us to just stick together two different texts, okay? And when you're gonna do it, you're gonna have to expand this, and you're gonna choose two different ones, okay? As you see, we are using a lot of string concatenations, but in the first one, we're gonna use this one again. We're gonna use this table again, okay? So that's why we create another table that is being called emoji text, okay? So this is going to have the reaction name, so we're gonna avoid to do a lot of triggers, so we only gonna use the group to make things easier. So we're gonna add here, we're gonna go to function library, and we're gonna go to string group. In a string group, we're gonna use select a string, okay? That's it. We're gonna not doing anything else. And on there, we're gonna choose a private variable, okay? So go to function library. Once more, you're gonna move to player, and you're gonna select player private variable, okay? And when you are on there, you're gonna select emoji, okay? Remember, emoji is going to tell the game which emoji is using. So just go ahead, players in trigger event, and we're gonna use emoji, of course, and that's it. And now, very important, we're gonna choose which group. Remember that the group we using is being called emoji text, okay? Here we save all the database for the different reactions names. So we're gonna use emoji text here, okay? So remember, in this one, just select emoji. And on this one, just once more in variable, select emoji text. And that's it. With that, we tell, oh, I forgot a part extra. Sorry, I almost ended in the wrong way. So that's going to be just the first part. Okay, what happened here? All right, it's this one. Okay, so we're gonna have like that, this part. Now on here, we're gonna add another concatenation because we need to tell the game which player, okay? So we are going to tell first which player reacts, then reaction, and then to which players, okay? So we use another string concatenation, so function library, string concatenation. And when you add it, you're gonna just expand it, and you're gonna have to put the next thing. So in the first one, you're gonna place the target player, okay? So you're gonna go here, function, player, and player name, okay? Player name will automatically get the player, but now we need to choose which player. So remember, the target always is going to be in a private variable. So what you're gonna do is to select here, and you're gonna go to players in trigger event, okay? And what you're gonna do here, and what you are going to change, is going to be players or function library, and then you're gonna move to just players private variable, okay? It's easy, easy, lemon squeezy, just like we said before. And we're gonna have that here, and it's going to be battle target, okay? So remember, players in trigger event and BTN target as always. Remember, here is going to handle which player is going to have the reaction for. And finally, just adds another string concatenation. I know there is a lot of string concatenations, but this is the easiest way. So select a string concatenation once more. And finally, on here, we just gonna add an S here. So remember, if you are in English, you can put an S, that means that it's the activity, but if you are in other language, you have to realize how to do this, because this is only going to work for English fine. And on here, we're gonna add again this thing that says function library. We're gonna use a string group ID, and this time we are not going to react to the emoji. This time we're gonna react to the activity. So remember, we got the activity. So this is actually what is going to happen, as an example, singing or dancing or just doing anything in the game. So we're gonna use that one, okay? So we're gonna use activity, and probably you got a problem like mine, that is that you cannot completely choose this one. So what you're gonna do is just click on the border, and in the border, you're gonna have all this information. So you're gonna select activity text, okay? We're gonna use that one. That's the one we use here, okay? Activity text. So select activity text, that one, okay? And we're gonna close it. And now we already telling the game that the player reacts. Now we're gonna give the player the direct information. We're gonna say, hey, you have reacted to this, so use this. So how do you do that? Just add it here, a new one. We're gonna select player, and we're gonna select the one that says display text to a player, okay? Display text to a player is going to show a floating, so we're gonna use that. So in the first one, we're gonna go and select function library. Once more, this it's like a normal thing here. Okay, so all right, another hit for the player, and we gonna just click on there. Okay, so we gonna select player's private variable once more. As always, as you see, this requires a lot of private variables, and we gonna select again players in trigger event and BTN target. Okay, so we gonna show to the players that someone is reacted to him, and then we're gonna show the text. Okay, so once more, we're gonna have a lot of string concatenations, so prepare yourselves. Select string concatenations on here, and once you are on string concatenations, you're gonna select first the player. This is going to be a little bit easier than the other, but it's going to be also a little bit complicated. So you're gonna select the player name here. Okay, so go ahead and select function library, select player and player name, that's it. And on here, once more, we're gonna select players in trigger event. All right, and we're gonna use another string concatenation. I know, guys, that you're probably gonna have a lot of string concatenations, but it's the easiest way to do it. With this, we avoid to make a lot of triggers. So select again string concatenation. And here you only need to put two things. As you see, it's simpler than the other one. We have also a lot of concatenations, but not that much as the previous one. And on here, just put reacts. Depending on your language, you're gonna use a different one. Reacts means reacts literally, and 2 points. And now we're gonna say the reaction. Okay, so to tell the player the reactions once more, we have this table. Remember, this is going to automatically show this. We know having to do a trigger for each one. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna just add here a string group. So function string group and a string group here. All right. And in here, we're gonna select the string ID is, and once more, we're gonna get the reaction. Remember that the reaction is a private variable. So as always, go to players and players private variable. And under you're gonna select emoji, okay? Remember that we're gonna have an emoji, so we're gonna use that one. And on here, we're gonna use the table that is being called emoji text, okay? So once more, in our table, emoji text is this one. So we're gonna use whatever of these reactions, okay? And that's it for the reaction. Now the things that we come after this is going to be much easier.